Good afternoon. We welcome you to the 88th Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. Today's defensive breakout for Missouri features defensive coordinator Blake Baker, along with student athletes, cornerback Chris Abrams-Drain, safety J.C. Carlisle, linebacker Chuck Hicks, defensive end Darius Robinson, and defensive lineman Christian Williams. Student athletes are available right now across the hall for interviews in the green room A. Coach, before we open it for questions, if you would give us a statement about each player first. Chris Abrams-Drain.
Chris Abrams-Drain is he's an elite cornerback, but also an elite young man. He's a guy that, to me, has done it the right way. When you talk about in today's age of college football, he's stuck it through, with the same program for 4 straight years. Not only that, he played mostly quarterback in high school, came as a wide receiver, and has really developed himself through hard work at the cornerback position.
J.C. Carlisle.
JC is, I get to personally coach him in my position group, and he's come a long way in a short period of time, not only on the field but off the field. Very, very quiet by nature, but on the field he's a different beast. So a lot of fun to coach. He's a physical specimen. Can't wait to see what he does next year in the NFL, but looking forward to what he can do Friday as well. Chuck
Hicks.
Chuck's He's the old man, which is crazy to say. I think he's in his 6th year, but he's about his business. He's a very serious guy. He's always focused on what he can do to make the team better, and he's the ultimate team guy. He's really, in my opinion, one of the glue guys on our defense.
Darius Robinson.
Darius, man, he's fun to coach. He has developed his game, very unselfish, 2-time team captain, played inside for us last year, moved him to the edge, and it's something that he wanted to be challenged with as well, and a guy that has done phenomenal, was first-team All-SEC. Looking forward to watching him on Friday. Big, physical, imposing guy.
And finally, Christian Williams.
Christian Williams, he came to us as a transfer last year. He is by far the nicest guy on the team. He's a guy before team meetings. He sits in his shoulder pads, and he'd wear his helmet if you'd let him. But he's fully dressed out 45 minutes before the team meeting, so he's a special dude.
All right, to our assembled media, we ask that you would raise your hand. We'll get the microphone to you. First question, Coach, to our right.
What's going on, Coach? Gerard Hamilton, Power Mizzou. Obviously, your name this last month or so was attached to other jobs floating out there, but you decided to sign a contract extension. What went all into that as far as, your decision to return?
A lot of it, honestly, has to do with my happiness and my family's happiness in Columbia. There were some possible other opportunities out there, but Coach Drink is a phenomenal guy to work for. He's first class in everything that he does. And really, I feel like we have unfinished business, still here at Mizzou. So all in all, I never really considered, going anywhere else. To me, it was, I kind of said the same thing last year when I signed the contract extension. It was a no-brainer, and really happy to be able to do that.
Coach, to our left, second row.
Hey, Coach. Joey Van Zummeren from Fam Nation. In the middle of the season, you talked to us about how you felt your defense was at its best when you were playing a ton of different players, utilizing your depth. What have you made of that depth through the second half of the season?
Yeah, I think the proof is in the pudding whenever you look at the amount of guys that we've played, and we spread the reps out a little more evenly, we do play better. I do think also that our guys everybody wants to it's like instant oatmeal, they just want to add water and stir it up and here comes players. Some guys develop at different times, and I think we do a really good job repping guys throughout the year and being able to develop them and now being able to put it on display in game situations. It's definitely a bonus for us.
Coach Frank Cusimano, KSDK, how do you prepare for a quarterback who's never started a college game and has 22 passes? Do you go back and look at high school tape, or do you just look at this is the Ohio State system, that's how they are going to run it?
Yeah, we mostly looked at what he's done this year, and I think it was like 76 snaps or something on the season. And then you kind of blend that with what they already do and maybe some things differently they may do based off of his skill set. But no, I didn't go back and check out his huddle highlight tape.
Stay on the left side, front row.
Coach Ken Capps from Football Writers of America. Mizzou was kind of a surprise team in the SEC this year. What do you attribute the Tigers' success to this year?
I think it's a lot of different things that go into success. I think it starts with Coach Drinkwitz and how he's created a culture. The second thing I would say is our leadership on the team. Again, with the day and age of bringing in different guys from a portal standpoint, or even early, or not early enrollees, but even freshmen, they all adapted to who we were as a culture. And the third thing is I think we have really good players, and all of those things combined, to me, have determined our success.
Coach, right side, front row.
Coach, one more thing back to the extension. When deciding to return, obviously there's a lot of players that will be leaving, but how much of the conversations were about who you guys have that can step up next year and some of the guys you're bringing in via the portal and via, recruiting?
Yeah, I mean, as far as like conversations yeah, I mean, I think we both, both know what we have coming back, and both, and that's ongoing way before contract extensions even put on the table. That's something that we talk about every single day is personnel, who we have leaving, who we're recruiting, what needs we're going to have to fill in the portal. But honestly, it's a much different situation than last year where we knew we had a ton of guys coming back. And to me, I relish with that opportunity, that challenge to see if we can continue to build on what we have going.
Left side, third row.
Kind of on that same topic, when you talked in the spring, you talked about how excited you were, having so many veteran guys coming back. Just how important was that, this season, having guys who, were used to playing with each other, that have a lot of experience, and, still having those guys here, in the postseason game when, a lot of programs have double-digit guys that aren't playing.
Yeah, I use the phrase "there's no substitution for experience." And when you have a lot of guys that have played a lot of college football, not only just in general, but with each other, it definitely helps from a chemistry standpoint. And again, it helps from a culture standpoint when you're bringing in multiple guys, new and old. They've adapted to what those guys had already built on. So it was instrumental to our success this year.
All right, coach, straight down the aisle all the way to the back.
Blake Baker, Kyle Helms with ABC 17. I know that from talking to you in the past, havoc rate is something that you really emphasize to your guys. Just how important has getting turnovers been to you guys this season, especially in the second half of the season when it feels like you really started to rack up those takeaways?
Yeah, I mean, I think getting the ball back to our offense. We have a very explosive offense, and at the end of the day, it's about who scores the most points, right? So you're taking a possession away from the opponent and then giving our offense a chance to put more points on the board. But it's also huge for momentum. I think college football, there's so much momentum swings throughout the game, and a lot of times that ends up determining the game is explosive plays and takeaways. So something that we pride ourselves on, something that, like you touched on, once we got into SEC play, I thought we really picked our game up.
Coach, we'll stay in the back to the far left.
Coach, Colby Zach, KMU8 News. You and Kirby Moore have a lot in common. You're newer to the program, fresh off extension. So how have you two kind of come together offensively and defensively to kind of mesh together and make the team better as a whole?
I think you're the first person that ever said me and Kirby have a lot in common. No, I'm kidding. We are kind of polar opposites. But Kirby and I have become very, very close. I think we're both low ego, high output guys. Our wives have gotten very, very close. We live in the same neighborhood, and so we do, stuff off the field together. So it's been very seamless from that standpoint. And again, when you talk about our entire staff, there is great camaraderie. There's great fellowship amongst it. And when, again, starts up top, but when they see the two coordinators that get along really, really well, I think it trickles down. So it's been fun working with Kirby. He does a fantastic job.
Coach, left side, second row.
Coach, when you look at Emeka Egbuka on Ohio State, and specifically some of the things he does going out of the backfield and in the slot, what kind of challenges does he present for your defense?
He's a great player. I think they remind me, honestly, of some of the best offenses we've played this year. When you look at the LSUs and the Georgias of the world, there's really no weakness, and he's just another piece of their puzzle. But when you look at their receiving core as a whole, it's probably one of the best, if not the best, in the entire country. So they all present different problems. But, yeah, the way they move him around and the way they move Zero around, they definitely present issues.
Coach, down the aisle to the back.
Coach, I know one of the nicknames that you guys kind of embodies your guys' defense this year is death row defense. Just can you give us a little bit of insight into what that identity means to your group?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we pride ourselves is I mean, we keep it really simple. We say run and hit, and the rest will take care of itself. And when you have guys that play hard for each other and play hard for a coaching staff, that you can correct a lot of mistakes that you may have on the field. So that'll always be our identity, and I think our guys have really embraced that.
And coach, left side, third row.
You kind of mentioned it earlier. Ohio State's a very well-rounded offense. They have a lot of dynamic talent in passing game. They've had instances in games like against Michigan, 7-8 runs in a row, just marching down the field. What's going to be important on Friday, kind of getting them off balance when they're kind of good at everything?
I think the biggest thing, first and foremost, is stop the run. I think 32 is as good a back as I've seen on tape all year. He's powerful, he's fast, he's dynamic out of the backfield. They'll split him out and empty and get a mismatch. So I think it starts and stops with him, to be honest with you. And then again, with their receivers, they're all the unique thing about their receiving core is they're all very, very unique. They're not. And what I mean by that, they've got great length at one receiver. They got great speed at another receiver. They've got great wiggle with a third receiver. So it's a matchup nightmare. It really is. They're extremely explosive. They're a very well coached offense.
Right side, front row.
Coach, two-part question. The first one is, were you helping with special teams this year? I know Coach Drink said he was and Coach Pogue was.
Yeah, I didn't really help out too much. I think I was supposed to and kind of got sidetracked.
I was going to ask you about, then defensively you had a couple freshmen, Marvin Burks and Philip Roche. They got to burn their red shirts and they played a little bit this year. How important, was that experience, and how important has bowl prep, getting these extra practices been for players like them and players playing next year?
Yeah, it's been huge. I mean, anytime you got guys, and I don't know their snap count off the top of my head, but Philip, the last 3, 4, 5 games is starting on our third down package. The one thing that you still want to build in a program is depth and consistency. And the way you do that, in my opinion, the biggest way to develop is get on the field and play the game. And when you look at those two on defense, you look at Jordan Harris, Brett Norfleet, we feel really, really strong about our current freshman class. I think when you look, in 2-3 years, it's going to be really, really good. You see a lot of big-time players that are going to continue to develop, but also the bowl practices are huge. Especially early on, you're working more developmental practices than bowl prep. So for those guys to just continue to hear your base calls and continue to work on their fundamentals and technique, it's just going to pay dividends come next year for sure.
Coach, straight to the back, down the middle.
Coach, you talked about it a little bit earlier, but when you guys are preparing to face Ohio State, and obviously they have a lot of people transferring, there's a little bit of uncertainty of what they'll look like. How have you had your group kind of block out the distraction and try to focus on preparing for this team?
It's about us, and every week that's what we talk about, a nameless, faceless opponent. And at the end of the day, whoever goes on the field is who we have to defend. So I think our guys are excited about the challenge. Again, when you look at how much talent they have on offense, I think our guys are, it perked their antennas up a little bit when they watch the tape and see how talented they are. So, again, regardless of who comes out on the field Friday night, our guys will be ready to go.
Right side, front row.
Coach, how fun has it been, coaching this defense? Coach Drink said last week, in almost 2 decades of coaching, this is the most fun he's had. Kirby said yesterday he kind of agrees with that statement. How fun has it been coaching this team?
It's been fun, and especially, again, we keep talking about how many older guys. When guys, you've been through the fires with them and just a different level of maturity from, older, seniors and stuff, they're you can easily, they know when to play and they know when to work. And when you have that kind of balance where you don't always have to be a jerk all the time to get your point across, it does make it a lot of fun.
Any final questions for Coach Baker? All right, going down the middle, Coach. Straight in the back.
Coach, we got to see you guys have a little bit of fun before today's practice, playing a little kickball. Just could you talk a little bit about just what it was like getting to kind of unwind and just have a little bit of fun with your guys?
Yeah, again, it's, like I just talked about, when you have a mature group and when you have a really strong culture, you're able to turn it on and turn it off. And you know, it's been a really, really busy week. So for them to kind of kick back and watch them laugh and joke, and because we, you know, as a unit, as a group, we haven't had a lot of time to do that. So I thought it was a great idea by Coach, and I know the kids really enjoyed it.
So, Coach, what do you think of Texas and Arlington so far?
So I grew up in Houston, so this is my first time in Jerry's world, but it's absolutely beautiful. First class bowl. I mean, the Cotton Bowl. I've never had an experience like this in my life, to be honest with you, with the hospitality and amazing gifts every single night sitting on your bed. It's been big time. It's been a lot of fun.
Coach Baker, thank you very much.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Tiger students and athletes are available again right across the hall in Green Room A. And as a reminder, a transcript of this press conference, along with video and audio files, will be distributed via email and posted online via the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic section of the College Football Playoff Media Portal. To gain access to the portal, send an email to licensing@catapultsports.com. Thank you.